What's the most important thing in life for you, Christina?
The very most important thing is my children, my grandchildren, and my husband.
Family.
Yeah.
My mother died when she was 84, and my father was about coming up in 83. So they lived to a good age. So they did.
I imagine life on the road is quite hard.
It was very hard. It was all right in the summer, but the winter time it was very hard. But then you'd always find your fathers and your uncles trying to build places for the winter, and try and have a wagon for the winter, because you could light a fire in them. Yeah, you could light a fire, and there was a top bed and a low bed, and you could, if it rained or snowed, you could go in there and have your supper in where the rain, or you could sit down quite comfortable and have something to eat, and there was a big stove in the wagons. It's to show the rest of the children, the grandchildren, where Granny used to live. I was born in County Cavan, so I was in the side of the road, and I was on the side of the road for nearly all my life. And then they used to build shelter tents. That was to get the winter over it. So it was like a big binder. You had the small binder and you had the big binder, the shelter tent we used to call it. And we used to have the big fire in the middle of that as well. So you did.
And what is the bender itself made of?
Just pieces of, like we used to call them like the handle of a brush, but they could bend over. We used to get, my father and them used to go to the woods and cut them down and peel them off and whatnot and get them ready. And they used to lay them, bend them over and lay them stuck in the ditch for about a week. That they'd go like that, go like the bend of the wood would bend over, and then they'd get there was like a big long piece of pole in the middle, and they'd bore holes in it, and then they'd put the sticks on like here, like a zigzag pen, down along. Then they'd have a green cover to come over that tent, and then they'd have straw. That was your bed. You used to go to the farm and get that's a bit of straw. Maybe they'd cost, maybe that time it could be only twopence a penny for a bundle of straw. Then you put that underneath the children, and the same this side, and then you'd have the blankets. You'd be quite cosy, I'm telling you. But sometimes my father would put like bitumen or something like that over the canvas as well, and he'd put the big fire and he'd throw it over the canvas, and he'd throw it on the road, and he'd get this bitumen and he'd melt it all down, and he'd throw it on the cover, and he'd make it like it was waterproof, but this bitumen thing it'd even make it better. It'd make it more waterproof, that no water could come in. So they could. That's what all the travelling men did for their families. Try and keep the water out. This is my children's great granny and grandfather, and this is where they just after having their tea. And this is the bender, the tent here, at where she's sitting in the front of it, and the pots is up in the ditch.
Have you got a date for this?
I'd say this would be about sometime in the 1940s. This is my granny, my uncle, and that's his youngest daughter there, and the way you can see the wagons and the benders here again behind them. They lived their whole life on the side of the road. She was nearly 90 when she died, and he was well over 80s.
How many bedrooms do you have in your...
Just the one.
Well, this is just
one bedroom. Some of the caravans are bigger, and they could have 3 bedrooms in them. Yeah, 3 bedrooms and a bathroom and a bathroom in them, and the kitchen place and the living room. More of them has only got 2 bedrooms in them. Some of them has only got 1 bedroom in them. They're mostly just like for a young couple just got married. That's what the smaller caravan is like for. The bigger ones is like for families. People who's got children. Like put the boys in there, the girls in there, and the mum and dad up at the end, and that sort of way.
So you do. You need to put the girls in one trailer and the boys in the other trailer, so the girls have their privacy and the boys have their privacy.
But when they're going to bed or doing homework and things like that, they go to their own caravan, and the boy goes to his caravan. But he could be lying in there maybe with 2 brothers or 3 brothers. There could be 4 or 5 of them in together. But that's the boys, and this is the girls. You could have maybe 3 girls together. Do you know, it could be finished up. There could be 4 girls together, 2 in that bed and 2 in that bed. But they have their own privacy in there, and the boys has got their own privacy over there.
And do the boys, would you encourage them to do their cleaning in their caravan?
No,
you can do it, but
it won't be done.
It won't be done.
It's the
tell you
girls
that.
have to go over and do that.
That is the truth.
And will you be passing that on to your children?
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Every travelling woman, every travelling mother, that's her role to look after her children. That's her responsibility. It's her children.
Your traveller culture is very strict on that sort of thing.
Yes, yes. It's mostly travellers, that is mostly all Catholics, that I know of anyway. It's all Catholic families. All the travelling people that I know has these two, at least they have him and they have her in their home. No. And all the travellers that I know, they have definitely got them two. Some people just have more, but they definitely have them two anyway.
I couldn't live in a house, even though I was reared in a house up to being 17 years of age. I think once you've got the traveller's blood in you, it's there, and it's there for life.
But you think your children may be different?
No, I'm lucky enough now, thank God. All mine is living. I've got two that's living the other side of London. They're living in yards, so they've got their caravans there. But I couldn't see my family going into houses. No.